2 months ago, after 5 years of full-time freelance, I've finally rented out my own space in a co-working space. And 1 month later, I'm back in my home office. And so in this video, I want to kind of share with you my experience, pros and cons of having your own office in a co-working space versus a home office, and why I chose to come back to my home office. Hey everyone, what's up? So as you can see, I'm back in my home office. So you might say that the rent an office outside of home experience has failed. I want to talk about why. So I've been working from home for over 5 years now that I'm full-time freelancing. Before I had kids, that was really easy and ideal for me. I had my own space. It was all quiet and nice, but I have 2 kids now. The older one is 4 years old and the youngest one is a little over a year. And when I started to have kids, and it was kind of challenging to work from home. In a sense, it's great, because I can be inside the house. If my wife needed me when she was on, maternity leave, I could help a lot. I don't have to drive anywhere. We're living a little bit outside of the city center. I'm living in Tel Aviv, Israel, and we're living a little bit outside of city center. And so when I have to go to meetings, I have to drive there and come back. And so working from home actually saves up a bit, something like maybe 1 or 2 hours of commute every day. So it's really efficient. When I finish out my work at 6 p.m. every day, right, I don't have to drive anywhere or stuck in traffic. I'm right outside with the kids. And so it's really ideal for me. But in a sense, again, it's not super easy to work when you have kids outside, especially if you're a content creator, you're recording videos, or you have to do phone calls or something, because you can really hear them from outside. And when they're home, they like to open the door and just crash inside. So usually they're coming back from the kindergarten afternoon. And so I plan my day that, I'm doing all of my creative deep working sessions in the morning here in my home office, and I try to be outside the house afternoon. So I do my meetings afternoon and I do my calls, and I try to do that outside of the house, and that way I can also have a little bit time outside meeting people face to face, and I can still be effective when they're in the house. But during August, that was kind of a summer vacation from their kindergarten, and they were at home the whole time. And that was actually a pretty critical time for me, because I was launching my own first online course, needed to create a lot of content, needed quiet and the ability to focus. And so I knew that I won't be able to do that from home, and I've rented out an office. I was really curious about this. I never had my own office, and so I had a lot of expectations. There's a lot of possibilities right now for freelancers who want to work in a co-working space, which is probably what you're going to do if you're a freelancer. It's much easier than renting out a space. Then you have to take care of all the facilities, such as internet, whatever, paying the bills, having their coffee and everything. So today there's a lot of solutions like WeWork or multiple other co-working space that allow you to either just take a desk in an open space or rent out your own office. And I have friends who have this, I've been sharing on the vlog a lot of times. I'm hanging out in those spaces, and it always looked really cool to me. So, and I was, in a way, first of all, I love working from home, but it was also a financial decision. Like, do I really need this, to pay this extra for an office? And I didn't feel like I need this. But at this point, I was like, okay, I have to do this. I have to get out of the house if I want to be effective during August. And I've rented out the space. I knew that I need my own room. I had 2 actually requirements when I did this. I know that I needed my own room because I needed quiet, because I'm doing a lot of video recording. I couldn't be in an open space where I couldn't record, and it was really important for me to have a window. So this is my home office. It's situated right next to a window. It's important for me because I'm doing videos, but also just because I feel much more creative, relaxed, and comfortable when I have a lighted space around me than just inside of a cubicle with a lamp. I don't enjoy those situations. So for me, light, like natural light, is very important. So those were my requirements, and I found a space that in a co-working space that had both these things. Now, a lot of people, and when I went to review several places, they're trying to sell you on networking. Like, yeah, you're going to be working next to a lot of people. You can network, you can grow your business. They're doing all these kind of networking events and happy hours, and we have beer taps and stuff like that. Now, for me, honestly, it wasn't really a feature, right? I'm talking a lot about the importance of networking and creating relationships with people, but I'm very intentional about who I want to create relationship with. So I'm not just gonna, knock on the door next to me just because somebody's randomly in the office next to me. I'm gonna be friends with them. I'm very intentional about who I want to set up meetings for, lunch meetings or get to know or hang out with, because I know they're either people that I can learn from, or they can be potential customers, or I know who I want to create relationship with. And so for me, I don't really benefit from having random people from random industries in the office next to me. So to me, that wasn't really important, but they're really trying to sell you this as a feature. Again, for me, it wasn't important. All I wanted, honestly, was a quiet place to work in. And yeah, I guess nice environment would be nice. And honestly, that's the thing that disappointed me in this situation, because even though the room is kind of like, I guess they're tight or soundproof, they're supposed to be soundproof, but it wasn't the case. And I'm working in Israel. In Israel, people are loudspeakers and they're talking on the phone, they're yelling on people, and it happened multiple times. And a lot of times when I had to record videos, that people were speaking so loudly that I can either not record or I could not even concentrate on doing my work. So even, I thought it's going to be much more quiet if I don't work in an open space, but I work in my own office. But still, it wasn't like soundproof. It was still very noisy to me. So I know a lot of people who just wear those soundproof headphones, and that's awesome. If you only do your own work, that's cool. I guess you can manage with that. But for somebody like me who has to do either phone calls or record videos, which I had to do a lot, again, because I was recording an online class and doing a lot of webinars and things like that, it just wasn't really effective. And I was like really disappointed. I even had kind of, not sure about an argument, but because when I rented the office next to me was empty, and then on one side, on the other side it was busy, and then somebody went inside in the middle of my term, and he was really like, a loudspeaker would be like a gentle way of saying this. He was yelling at his clients all day long, like, no, you don't understand, blah, blah. And he was like, okay. So the day that he came, like 10 minutes later, he was yelling on the phone, and I was like, okay. So I waited for him to finish the call, and I went to his room and I said politely, like, hey, I'm your neighbor, and when you're yelling on the phone like this, it makes it hard for me to do my work. And he was like, okay, it's a problem because I'm going to be talking on the phone like this, so I'm not going to take this office. And he went to the management and say, no, if it bothers him, I can't work like this, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, he took another office away from me. But the kind of sound and privacy issues in those co-working space, I guess it's an issue. If you really need privacy, I guess it's not the thing for you. So eventually, when that term ended up, even though there was something nice about working from home and being able to, not worry that the kids might bust into your room every now and then. And by the way, I chose a co-working space that is not very far from home, so it didn't add like a 1 hour or 2 hour commute from my house. It was just like 10-minute drive. But eventually I decided I can't work from there. I'm probably going to take my own office next year, but it's not going to be in a co-working space. It's going to be like a sealed office that I own the whole space, that I'll be able to record videos and do my own thing, and even bring along other people to sit in the space with me, maybe interns or some video production crew. But co-working space, it's just not for me, in the sense that you don't get privacy, you don't get true quiet and the ability to work and focus. So at least that's my perspective. If you're considering whether you should take out your own office or stay working from home, would love to hear your kind of how you're thinking about this in the comments. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you tomorrow.